She was the ultimate mama's helper to Max and Louie when they were born as twins, and in fact, she was also quite shy. Matter of fact, for years, when we went out and about, she would not leave Rhonda's lap. She was literally glued to Rhonda's lap forever. And then, as she grew older, she came out of her shell, and that's when we realized Abby had a wonderful alter ego. You guys know who her alter ego is? Yes, enter Gail. Gail brought the same beautiful, caring, and thoughtful personality as Abby, but Gail was a bit different. Maybe it was her brothers and cousins that brought it out in her first. But Gail was more courageous, surprisingly louder, a bit crazy, and she loves a good party. Which brings me to the first time we met Pickle and Ann. So let's rewind a minute. Back in the day for football games, St. John's didn't have assigned tailgate spots, so we showed up one random fall day, pulled into a spot, and right next to us, Pickle and Ann pulled in. We didn't know each other, we made some small talk, introduced ourselves, and eventually Rhonda said to them, you know, I think our kids know each other. Our daughter is Abby Ronchicott. And of course, Pickle was like, well, that's great to know, that's great to hear. But we don't know anything about her. So they just kind of replied, okay, that's great. And we kind of continued on our way. And then if you guys know Pickle, you could hear him about 50 yards away calling my name, Dave. Okay, we know, your daughter's Gail. Why didn't you say so? Yeah, we know her. We know her. Anyway, we never thought of her as Gail, but here we are today. So our family first met Will during the summer between their junior and senior year in college. Abby's cousin, Rachel, who's the maid of honor here today, arranged for Bill to meet up with our families in Canterbury for horse racing. Of course, Bill made a great first impression. We loved his infectious enthusiasm, even though he had just lost some blood, his kind spirit, and his confidence as a conversationalist. We also learned that he really liked $1 hot dogs. He must have had 5 or 6 that day. Anyway, it was very clear to everyone that was with us that he was very interested in Abby, and in true Will fashion, he showed nothing but respect, humor, and positivity. So naturally, we wondered, who is this little guy anyway? We found out pretty quickly when we Googled his name. Actually, he had many accolades, as many of you already know, including breaking football records and numerous awards from St. John's for both on and off the field activities, including academics, athletics, and community service. I mean, can the guy get any better? Well, that's all fine and dandy, but of course, Rhonda and I were talking to each other, saying, okay, that's great, but is he still okay for our game? He's a football stud, everything's great, but is he okay for our game? It didn't take us long to realize that they are absolutely a perfect match. While they're both the oldest in their families, it doesn't mean they're all that similar. Abby and Will share an incredible bond that beautifully balances them as individuals and as a great couple. Abby being the organized, diligent, and a bit type A, like me, she gets that from me, has found her perfect couple, perfect partner in Will's laid-back, spontaneous, and curious nature. Will and Abby's dedication to their family and friends and work is evident to all those who are here with them today. And how lucky we are that both Abby and Will are so intentional in the way they spend their time and who they surround themselves with. They truly surround themselves with the best of the best. That Benny and Johnny love is something special. By the way, are there any Bennys and Johnnies here today? Abby and Will, you are both remarkable individuals, and even more incredible when you are together as a couple. Your mom and I love you both dearly. We are so proud of the extraordinary couple that you have become and are and will continue to be. And what a gift it is to have the support of and friendship of all those gathered here today. Everyone in this room is here because they love you. And they'll be by your side for all life's highs and lows. Together, there's nothing the two of you can't face. As our family always says, charge the mom. Right? There we go. So please join me in raising a glass to toast Abby and Lily. Or Gail and Lily. Just like when Abby was born, I couldn't imagine my heart hold so much love and joy with us today. Abby and Will, I hope that you look back on your wedding day and in some ways think of this day as a day you met each other duties. May your love continue to grow.
Cheers. We're not supposed to do it yet.
And may your lives be filled with endless joy.
I want to sip on my shit.
We love them both. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello.
Are they? That's nice. Upstairs, the one. Perfect. What?
I thought it was Thomas. Lady.
Who is it? Is that her sister?
I'm Rachel. Hi, everyone. I have always been proud to be called Abby's cousin.
Oh.
I unofficially have appointed myself as the captain of the Abby Fan Club. And based on the entrance here tonight, you guys are a pretty quiet group. But Abby and Will are my favorite people, and if you agree with me, can you guys all please make some noise?
They got noisemakers.
I would love to quickly
I'm
shout
good.
out and say thank you to the Ron
You gave me a big
Class
piece.
for everything you've done to make today so special. More importantly, thank you to Rhonda, Dave, Ann, and Pickle for raising Will and Abby. So you can't pick your cousins, but you can pick who you surround yourself with. And really for me, that has always been Abby. No matter what chapter of life we have been in, we have always been besties, and we have spent a lot of time together. In fact, some might even say it's a bit excessive. Abby was always hanging around with my siblings, sleeping over, and just part of our crew. We've always considered her an additional sister, which, looking back at it, it's actually pretty shocking because, like Dave said, she was practically mute for many years. But the moment that she did discover she liked liked talking to people, besides Rhonda, we did realize that she is one of the nicest, the most selfless, most fun, and one of the weirdest and funniest people out there. Now to reiterate, when Abby was little, she was just so cute. She was sweet, she was quiet, polite, and like everyone has said, she was extremely shy. Everyone who knew her called her cute little Abby because that's exactly who she was. And then somewhere in the pre-teen years, like David mentioned, things shifted. Abby got loud, she got funny, she was quirky, and so weird. And some people would also describe this as Will Latch. It was during this time that a new version of Abby had emerged, and that is when Gail was born. Okay, so back up to the years of grade school, high school, and college, you would think there might be a time that Abby and I had found our own interests. So let's dive into grade school. We had the exact same favorite movies, sports, crafts. We loved all the same toys like Webkins, American Girl dolls, all things Mary Kate and Ashley. We did every camp together where we were all often like 10 years older than the rest of the group. We were each other's pen pals for years. We loved all things with our cousins, especially the Smalls. Shout out to the Smalls. And our birthday parties were always spent together, usually involving some kind of DIY photo shoot and a dance party to Shania Twain. Alright, so then high school, the radio years came, and when Abby had joined me at CDH, I was thrilled. Now this was more of the Gale era, so maybe this was the moment we branched out and we found some new hobbies and friends. Nope. We had signed up for the same classes. At one point, we had successfully convinced our teacher that we should be allowed to cheat on tests because we were related. And we would even call our grandma in during class if we had questions. Everyone else really liked us in that class. We spent most weekends together, many weeknight sleepovers. Our friends became friends. We drove the same Kia as our cars. We played most of the same sports that we were pretty average at. We had the same roles in clubs. We married the same families. We always did spring break and holidays together. We really loved hanging out with the core four. We visited our grandparents and our cousins often. And literally the list could go on and on. Alright, so then I went to St. Ben's when the college years came. And I fully anticipated that my best friend and I would pick different colleges, as most people in high school do. And so there was the brief moment when Abby almost became the Tommy, but lucky for all of us, she ended up at Benny. And you guys might be surprised to hear, but we had the same major, the same on-campus job, where we worked together for hours every week. We joined more of the same extracurriculars. Abby and her friends have lived in my exact same dorm room, so long live Lottie 325. We both started our dating our now husbands senior year, and our social life is built around the shared love of a good dance floor at Sal's. So if you're wondering what could possibly be next in the post-college phase, well, Abby has a job in retail. Shocking, I have a job in retail. So for 22 years, it really has been us enjoying our party for two. I was lucky enough to go through every chapter with Abby, and clearly we thought that was pretty fun. And then she met Will. And somehow things just kept getting better. It has really been the best hanging out with both of them, and I feel so lucky to be able to call them both best friends. And honestly, there's a really good chance that Will and my husband Mick might like each other more than Abby and I do, which has worked out in our favor. So now let's rewind to the beginning when Will came into the picture. When he became a love interest, it was actually one of the only times where Abby and I were not spending all of our time together. I had just graduated college, but backing up a little bit, I do think I might have manifested the relationship a little bit. I remember getting a text from Abby my senior year saying something along the lines of, "That Will Galashka is so cute." Abby did start to hang around with Mr. St. John's football all-star himself. But, of course, they were not technically official for a while. I wanted to get to know him, especially knowing that I would not be in St. Joe that fall. Since Abby would never invite him to a family event when they were not official, I took matters into my own hands. I invited Will to our 4th of July get-together, and shockingly, he joined right in. He drove down to the cities from St. Joe to hang out with the extended family of a girl that he was just talking to. Okay, so most people would call that sucking up, but thank God he did, because for the first time he met everyone, he could not have fit in better. Of course, Gail has always had the best taste in her people and her friends, so it did not surprise us at all. There's that saying, you are who you surround yourself with. But let's be honest, that is not Abby and Will. They are opposites in the best, most balanced, and the most entertaining way possible. If you know Will, you know that one of his best qualities is how intentional he is. He puts thought and care into every single thing he does. Okay, well, almost everything. Sometimes he's not exactly intentional about things like being on time, planning, or staying organized. Doesn't bother Abby at all. He's a simple guy. If he likes something, he sticks with it. He'll buy the same clothes just because if he likes one, why not have a few? Last year, I was on a trip with Abby and Will to Acadia National Park. Now, if you guys were going on a hiking trip like that, your packing list might include a few hiking outfits, boots, tennis shoes, maybe some options for some unpredictable spring weather. But Will, optional. We arrived, and I'm pretty sure he had one pair of shorts for the entire long weekend. Right when we got there, he opened his suitcase in the hotel, and he had quietly said to himself in the corner, "Shit, 2 lefts." And we were like, what? Leave it to Will to pack 2 left shoes, the same shoe, just both left feet for the entire weekend. Now, this is one of my favorite Will stories because, first of all, who does that? Who has so many of the same pair of shoes? But also because it really didn't faze him. For most people, that would be a mood killer, but not Will. He laughed it off and hiked that whole weekend in his fashion sneakers and 1 pair of shorts like it was no big deal. I am so happy that Abby is marrying someone who rolls with it, who makes the most of everything, and can laugh at the little stuff. Now, another favorite Will quality is that he is so great at asking the why. I really have always loved that and loved that about him and looked up to him for it. Whether we are joking around or getting deep, he has a way of making you think just a little bit harder. He doesn't let things slide. He wants to understand and to connect. And he really listens, which makes every conversation feel so meaningful. So, if Will were to ask me why I have spent so much time with Abby, or why I think that he is the luckiest guy in the world, it's this. Abby is my best friend, and honestly, I do know she is that person for so many people in this room. She has this calm, grounding presence, the kind of person everyone instantly loves. She's loyal, she's adventurous, hilarious, and she always knows how to lift her people up. She's real, she's kind, and she makes everyone feel like they matter. Now, even though Will and Abby are different in so many different ways, all of those things apply to him too. His personality complements both Abby and Gail in the most perfect way. And plus, they are 2 of the most fun and good-looking people around. Abby, I have had a front row seat to most everything in your life, and the person you have become is one of the very best. Will, you are really going to have the best life growing old with her, as I can confidently tell you I did growing up with her. Now, I'd like everyone to raise a glass. As individuals, you are 2 of the best people I know, and together, you're even better. We are all truly so lucky to know you too. I am so excited for all of the adventures that marriage will bring, all of the good, the hard, and the occasional 2 left shoes. If anyone can turn all of it into something even better than expected, it's you 2. I love you both so much. Cheers to the Glatches.